Oh hi, welcome back to my channel. This is a new video which I've been meaning to do for a while, but I've been pretty busy, so here we have. This is a video about the Rose engine which I finally completed. There you go. This is the Rose engine itself. As you can see, it's hand operated with a hand crank here, and as I rotate the hand crank here, it rotates the headstock. Basically, I have a series of pulleys and a belt, transmission belt, which allows me to rotate the headstock. Yeah. Alright, so I want to talk to you about the headstock here and what's going on in there. Here on the headstock you have there is a series of cams with different waves count. Those cams are actually allowing me to engrave any pattern on the workpiece. Such as watch dials or even wood can be engraved. Okay, here there's a close-up of the rosette barrel here. Here is a tower which holds a touch piece here. So the touch piece is actually touching the cam here. And on the headstock side, on the back here, there's a spring here, a bracket with a spring and a locking nut here. And as I release the locking nut, the spring pushes the headstock against the touch piece right here. And actually the rosette now is resting on the touch piece here. So as I rotate the headstock here, you can see the movement of the headstock is slightly rocking from side to side because it touches the touch piece here, and the springs pushes always against the touch piece. That allows me to create engraving patterns such as waves here. So whatever I'm engraving is following whatever patterns is on the rosette here. So now I want to move forward to this part of the lathe of the machine here. It's a chuck, it's a double eccentric chuck here. So basically the workpiece is held in this 3-jaw chuck, and I can center the work to any point I want on the work by the aid of those two slides here. Let me move this a little bit. So here is a slide which actually is a shoreline bed which I converted and fix it on this shaft here. So I can move any sides I want here and there. Right, and on this part of the chuck here, there's a worm gear. That worm gear is actually very useful to turn the workpiece to any angle I want, such as this here. There we go. And it's actually very useful for straight line work. For circular work it's not that useful because you can turn the crank to any size you want, but it's more for straight line work. I can show you later how I do straight lines, because that machine can also do straight line work as well as circular work. Okay, that chuck here is a 3-jaw watchmaker's chuck, which I adapted myself. I had a spare one, so I used it and adapted to this machine here. So I can clamp my work here with the jaws. Alright, now I would like to move on to this part of the machine here, which is the cross slide and the tool slide. I would like to talk about the tool holding slide here. This is something I made myself. It's a thumb push tool slide. This is made from a block of brass. I milled it myself here, and that slot here holds the cutting piece, the cutter, and next to the cutter is a rubber. So the rubber is a kind of guide which allow me to control the depth of cut. Because I am doing guilloche work on silver, that's why this tool slide is very useful. Alright, this is a close-up of the cutter, the cutting tool. Here you can see on the left, or on the right for you, is the cutter itself. Alright, and next to it here is the guide, which is basically a rubber next to it. That rubber sits against the work in order to control the depth of cut of the cutter, and I can adjust the depth of the guide through this screw here at the back of this block here. So by turning here like this, you can see the rubber next to the cutter going in and out. This is going in or out and in, like so. Alright, so this is a very, very delicate work, and in order to get the right depth of cut, you need to have many trial cuts in order to set the guide correctly. So once my guide is set correctly, I can fasten it through those screws. So as you can see, the slide here is sliding with my fingers, and I can push it with my thumb. So basically the only control is my thumb. So my thumb is pushing the slides into the work. There is no electrical motor involved, it's just hand operated. And the whole slide is held on the linear ball bearing here. So it's very smooth and there is no play at all, and it's very convenient here. And the whole assembly is held on a quick change tool post. So the quick change tool post allows me to adjust the height of the tool. Yeah, so I can adjust to any height I want, but basically this is already set to the center height of the headstock here. So now going on to the cross slide here. So that slide is actually a very reasonable priced slide, which is made in China, and for a very reasonable cost you can purchase this item. It's pretty heavy, but it does the job. There is two ways. One is this way here, going up and down, and the other way is this way. Yeah, so I can move my cutter any way I want. So why do I need a slide here? The reason is, when I do guilloche work, we need to move from one circle to the other circle, and in order to do this you need to have a slide, and the moving of one line to the other requires very regular intervals. So if you need many lines, it has to be very regular. So in order to do so, I have made a ratchet stop here that allows me to adjust, to index basically the slide to any spacing I want. Okay, this is the ratchet stop I was explaining. This allows me to index the spacing between the lines when I do my guilloche work. So you can see here there's a ratchet wheel here with a ratchet and a spring here, a click spring. And when I move this, I can space my pins here to any holes I want in order to have a very regular spacing here. Then I can move the slide like this and so on, just like that. So I can move the pin either shorter or longer here, the distance. Then I can have different spacing. So every time I crank this, I have a very equal spacing. Alright? Okay, so now that I talked about the machine, I would like to show what I've been doing with it. Like I said, I'm making engine turning for a dial for my watch, which I'm building now. And guilloche work is quite delicate, but that machine can do the job, can do the work pretty well actually. I would like to show you a sample of what I've been doing here. This is a piece of 1 millimeter thick sterling silver, and I've been doing this guilloche work here. Alright, here you can see what I've been doing. This is just a sample of what I've been trying to do. Here there is 3 different patterns here being done. The first is the circular pattern here, which is called a barley corn pattern. This is made with a 96 wave count rosette. So each circle here has 96 waves, and they're all phased in order to have this barley corn pattern here. The second pattern is actually a straight line pattern. It's not a circular line. So here is the diamond shaped pattern here. They're all made from straight lines here. And the third pattern is a pumping pattern, which is the borderline, a ratchet border lines here. The 3 border lines. So the cut is cut radially. The cut is done actually here. It's not a circular. Alright, so in order to do those straight lines, the machine has to be set up in a different way. So I'd like to show you how I use the straight line attachment too on that machine. Alright? Alright, now in order to put the straight line attachment, I have to remove this chuck here. So the first thing to do is to unscrew this thing here. So I'm doing this right now, and I have to remove the slides. Now I have to unscrew the bed from that shaft here. And I don't need this block anymore. So put it away. Moving those 2 screws to fix my straight line attachment. Alright, so here we we go. This is my straight line. So basically it's a base plate with two pins here which goes into those holes. It's like steady pins, like so, fastened with those bolts, with those screws. Now I have to put a pinion on the spindle, like so, and fasten it. Now the bed has to be put in there. Alright, so now back to the chuck here. I need to remove this nut here, otherwise it gets in the way. And actually I don't need it because we don't use any lead screw here. Just put it away. The other thing I need to put in there is the rack here, which interact with this pinion here. So I need to put it on the side this way. Alright, so now pinion is there, the rack is in place, so I can slide back this in place here from the top and down. So now you can see this is a straight line attachment here. So as you can see, I can still crank the headstock. So the headstock is revolving, but now this slide is going up and down, so that allows me to do straight lines when I do my guilloche work here. So I still use the same cams of the same rosettes here in order to make the waves, straight waves, like so. That allows me to do those straight line pattern right here, right here. Okay, and that's it. So now I can use this worm key here in order to rotate my work to any angle. This is another dial which I've been making, another trial, so I can put my work right there in place. Now if I really need to put this level, of course it's very hard to judge by eyes, I can always use this to rotate the work. So I can rotate it to any angle I want. And there we go. This part of the lathe here, this part with this piece here, it's called a crossing wheel and the detent here. So what this does, you can see here there's a series of notches here, and there's a number here, 96. That numbers correspond to the number of waves of a particular rosette here. This rosette here has 96 waves, and those notches here, between two notches, the one and the next one here, correspond to half a pitch of the 96 rosettes. That means these touch pieces here can be offset or dephased from the peak to the valley of the wave here. That allows me to do barley corns or to dephase the work here. So if I move this piece here up, the rosette barrels becomes completely free here. So it's free to move. So if I put it back to where it was, it's exactly at the same point that was before. So if I put the next notch here, I'm effectively going from where it was at the bottom of the valley to the peak here. Then I can continue my guilloche work. So all the rosettes have different pitches, and here I managed to machine different numbers. So I can move this to any numbers I want and have different patterns. Also, that machine can do pumping action for ratchet designs, such as borderlines on chapter rings on watch dials. So I can do this movement here of the headstock with the help of the spring at the back here. So that goes like this. I can do the pumping action by using the side of the rosette here with waves. The headstock can move like this. Here you can see the spring here. So that is the pumping spring here. So the whole headstock can move freely here in an actual action here. All right, that's it. Okay, I think that's it for today. I tried to describe as best as I can the machine I built. This was a quite long project. It took me about 8 months to build and another 2 months to perfect everything. But I'm pretty happy with what I've been doing, and that machine performed pretty well and exceeded my expectations. I think that's it for now, and I really hope you enjoyed the video, and there will be possibly some more videos coming up soon. Alright, thank you, bye.